Hi, I'm Patrick Hollick, and you're listening or watching The Love Show. Today, my guest is the great Aimee Osbourne, very private Aimee Osbourne, so I'm happy you're
Hi,
here.
thank you.
How
I'm
is
happy to join you on a chat.
how is your bunker? How is
My bunker.
your mask life?
Um, my mask life is pretty good. I really have no complaints. Intermittent moments of an array of emotions, but otherwise life's pretty good. What about
Hmm.
you?
Good. I have like a ritual. Like I want to know what yours is. Mine is like get up way too early for some reason lately.
Oh my God, I
Every
literally wake up at 6 a.m. I love
yeah.
it when the world is functioning and normal. I can't drag my ass out of bed for anything. Yet when the world stops, I'm like, boing.
Yeah. What is
So
it? I don't know what it
I
is.
don't
Doesn't matter if
know.
I go to bed at midnight or 8 o'clock or whatever. I
It's the
get up
same
at like
thing.
5:51 or well, the other day it was
Yes.
4:44. So then I go on like a 10-mile walk. That's my shit. I keep walking around. That's my weird
Well,
immune
I
builder.
do 5 miles a day to
Hmm.
keep my head clear and to feel like I'm actually doing something positive, I guess.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's weird. I feel like a lot of people are kind of creating these little schedules and rituals for their sanity during this time. So
Yeah, I don't know what else, I think the only thing we can do is like immune stuff. Like I'm eating better and I'm walking more and I'm doing like
yeah,
jail sit-ups and push-ups and all that kind of
jail
stuff. Jail workouts or resistance training, you know?
or like rehab chores.
Yeah. Tell me about your incident. You had to get an appendectomy or what did you have to do? You had to go to
Yeah,
the I had one of those, by the way.
yeah. I mean, it was really it was, pretty standard, but it was just the timing that made it a little bit more stressful.
Mhm.
I hadn't been feeling very well pretty much since October, I think. And I just kept getting sick. And I went to the emergency room a couple of times and they're like, oh, you got a cold or this or that. But I don't know. I just kept feeling worse and worse. And then one evening, I was in so much pain and I called my doctor and she said, well, maybe let's just see how you do tomorrow. But I have a hunch that you probably need your appendix out. And I was like, oh, not now.
It sucks.
So I woke up the next day in worse pain. And within, I think, 2 hours of going to the emergency room, um, of where I witnessed a very unfortunate young man getting intubated, which was scary, I was in
Mhm.
surgery. So I ended up staying there for a couple of days and it was really um, scary in the sense that it was just eerie at the hospital. Like it was surprisingly quite quiet. There were people in there that obviously, unfortunately, got COVID, but it was just kind of eerie. It felt like a Stanley Kubrick film or something. And I was definitely happy to leave. But, the hospital was so lovely. Everyone was just beyond sweet. And, so I really have nothing to complain about.
It was scary though to see all that you were kind of when it was all jumping off, right?
Yes. And, I was speaking to the emergency room doctor and he said, well, as long as you wear a mask and you go out, you should be okay. And that was kind of before everyone kind of was jumping on the mask train. So,
Are you
um,
are you mask in your car or not?
no,
Yeah, what is
I
the
mean,
mask in the
I
car
don't
thing?
know. I don't know. It's pretty funny though. But I guess, people are freaked out and they don't know what the hell to do. So I get it. But I don't really see the logic behind, unless it's like a fashion statement. I don't know.
No, I
I don't
think
know.
it's just some freaked out stuff. I went to a little barbecue at a friend's the other day, and only one person, she was sitting across the pool, just like gesturing, no one go near her. And I was like, "Do you watch CNN?" And that didn't work well. That made her mad. She's like, "Yeah, but they said 70% chance if I stay like this." So she stayed across the pool at the barbecue. We were all 10 to 20 feet away anyway, but she was like extra. It
Yeah,
was
I have a
interesting.
friend who's extra extra right now. God
Hmm.
bless her. She's definitely more of an OCD tended person, and this has definitely kicked her off on a whole new level. But
Yeah.
it sucks because I feel like a lot of people are suffering that didn't get COVID because it's triggered depression, anxiety, even more OCD. So it's the virus has kind of like unintendedly taken out a lot of people that have these issues. So
Yeah, no, I feel bad for them too, and I don't know what the toll's gonna be, and what it's like going forward, because I feel like there's a lot of that.
mm,
I had looked at articles that were like people that were going to the weed supply had no problem, and people that were doing chemo were having problems getting things. It's all messed up. You know what I mean?
It's pretty messed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't think we'll actually know the effects of this for at least a couple years. So,
yeah, best case scenario. I mean, I feel like there's a death to the world we knew just a few weeks back.
100%.
And the ones that are like, when's it back? You're like, it's never going to be back in that capacity. I don't think that we once knew. I remember having a dinner and laughing with friends and just like kind of same old shit the 2 days before. And then I remember a guy coming up to me going, 72 hours. I'm like, what? He's like, handle all your stuff in 72 hours. We'll be like China. We'll be locked up. And I'm like, not here. And, he had it. Right.
Yeah. And then there are people that are saying, yeah, they'll loosen it up. And then by fall and winter, we'll be locked down again because apparently supposedly come back. And I'm just like, okay, I give up. I don't even know what to believe, but I hope not. That would really suck.
How are you taking the time? Are you doing anything different or same or?
Yeah, lots of writing, reading a bit, walking, trying to keep in touch with friends that I know are more isolated than others. I think it's super important to be really generous with yourself where you can with people, because I think a lot of people are probably struggling more than they let on. And so I've really been trying to be a good friend, been trying to cook more, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just made my first piece of baked salmon last night. I was always I was terrified of fish. Fish and chicken freak me out. Steaks were easy, but I was at this at that Erewhon in Venice, and my friend's like, "Oh, you can make this better than the one you're eating. It's about this much heat, this kind of seasoning, and then that." And I was like, "Okay." So I tried it last night, and it was actually better.
Oh, wow, look at you.
But I didn't know what a pound of salmon looks like. A pound's like 10 orders at Erewhon. So I ordered a pound thinking that was the smallest amount, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
A pound of salmon.
So we'll just throw it over the wall to the neighbor. I'm sure they'd love it.
Yeah. I'm going to make salmon for everyone tonight. So, because they said I have 2 days before I have to get rid of it. Have you been playing with music? Where are you at with music?
Yeah. I did a social distancing video shoot the other night, which was actually really fun and so easy and so relaxed. I was kind of like, I wish all video shoots could be like this, but
what was it like? Tell me.
Well, it was just, I think it was 6 people.
Okay.
Everyone was masked, and everyone stayed far away from each other. I mean, it created kind of a interesting challenge as far as how to execute it well with the current circumstances. But everyone was, I think, just really happy to be doing something besides quarantining. And everyone was super careful, and we filmed it in a little church in Venice, and it was just super mellow and fun, and it kind of like re-energized me and inspired me and reminded me that hopefully this isn't forever, and there's life to go back to after this.
Yes, I think there is. I just think we have to trudge on and figure it out. Is this for a song or a record you're working on? Where you at?
Yeah, I finished a record. I finished it a while ago.
Okay.
And there were a bunch of unfortunate circumstances which have delayed it, but it was supposed to be all ready to go in January, and then another delay called Corona hit.
Yeah, big one.
So yeah, I mean, I guess the record company and my management, we just kind of all got together and had to change plan and the direction of promotion, and there's obviously not going to be live shows for a while, so we're just trying to kind of figure out the best way to connect everyone with the music.
Yeah, it's
time.
New rules. It's kind of interesting because there's like the captive audience you can never have, and then the not being allowed to be around people. It's such a curmudgeon, right?
It is. But I do believe obviously that will not be forever. But in the meantime, it's it's kind of like the video shoot. It's kind of fun to have to rethink things and get creative, and so I'm trying to look at it positively.
Yeah. So. How many songs is on this record?
11.
11.
But I'm not going to release them all at once. It will be like intermittent releases, because I think nowadays, unless you're super established, people don't necessarily have the focus to sit there with a whole body of work, which, is good in some ways and also kind of sad in others.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just basically want to put stuff out that I hope people resonate with and just keep making more.
What's
So
comparison compared to have you changed your style since your last record? Is it similar
no,
or
I
is
mean,
it?
it's similar. It's definitely moody.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I worked with some really great people, and yeah, I mean, there's a couple of tracks that I kind of unexpected a little bit, and I was like, where did that come from? But I'm also really looking forward to making a new body of work because,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as a creative, day to day, you get different inspirations and ideas, and I love to collaborate with people, and I like to do that in the presence of those people because it's a very kind of tactile thing creatively. You want to be able to kind of feel someone's energy and stuff. So it's been a little tricky trying to do that through the phone
Mm-hmm.
and Zoom and whatnot, but it can still be done. I just really definitely miss that studio environment and being with people that I love to work with. So I'm really looking forward to that coming back.
Is studio dangerous, or is it, to me, in my mind, it's a distance thing, and it's like the isolation that this world is now on all of us. It seems to me that music could have that freedom. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a distance thing in the sense that, I mean, some people are more concerned than others about jumping into anything in too much of an intimate setting right
Yeah.
now. So, you have to kind of respect people's boundaries. You can't force anyone to kind of do what you want to do because you feel like it's okay. So, it's all about just kind of figuring out where people are comfortable and just getting it done. So,
Yeah, thank God someone told me early on. A good friend of mine said it's not about how your level of safety; it's about the other person's. And I was like,
right.
oh, because I was like, what's going on? I was just like in my own little zone. So she was
Yeah.
like, don't, let other people figure it out.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
been,
really not into the shaming that's going on too. That's kind of the negative aspect of all of this. There seems to be a lot of that going on as far as people kind of, I went out the other day and, walked by these two people yelling at each other about, your mask isn't on properly and this, that. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, like no one needs that right now.
yeah, I got a big one the other day. We are on a bike trail, and these people acted kind of weird. It's a strange vibe. Like I was up at the store up on Mulholland the other day, and this little kid glared at me like I was the bad guy. I was like 100 feet away. It was just like I think everyone's looking at people in different ways. It's weird. But it is
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Are you
Yep.
when are you planning on dropping the video? Do you have a plan, or are you just
Um,
going with how you could get it done?
June, at the end of June, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's pretty much lined up. So hopefully there will be no more unforeseen circumstances which create another delay, which I doubt that will happen.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just excited to do that from afar.
Mm-hmm. Have you traveled, or have you been staying in Los Angeles, or what's your?
um,
Have you been out since this happened?
I mean, I would love to travel right now because I feel totally stuck like everyone else. I really miss New York,
Mm-hmm.
miss Europe. I mean, usually around this time of year is when people like to kind of hop around anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I haven't done any traveling. I definitely think I will once we're allowed to, when it's safe.
I have my dad's 90th birthday in
Oh my
Nebraska
gosh.
next week, and I'm going on a train in a car. I've never done it before, where I got my own
Oh
little
my
car,
gosh. How
and
long does that take?
it takes 16 hours, which isn't that bad because the flight's 5.5 with changes and having to go places because Nebraska's just not like on the easy. So I
Right,
just
right, right.
figured like it's all introspective time for me anyway, and I'm
Yeah.
in no rush, and I've never done it, and I thought the travel wouldn't be stressful because I like to read and do stuff anyway. So I'm just gonna give it a
Yeah.
shot. It might be a big mistake. It might not. I don't know. I just have to. There's no missing a 90th. You know.
Seriously. I mean, that's major.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
So
happy
much.
birthday to your dad.
Yeah, it's cool. What are you getting into today?
Well, nothing too interesting.
I don't
Writing
think
a bit.
anyone's days are that interesting right now.
Yeah. Not really, just a bit of writing,
I wanted to do
maybe go
this.
for a walk.
Yeah, I wanted to do the show on like start a new podcast where it's like, what are you not doing today? And I'll be like, well, I'm not, and everything I'm not doing today, you
Right.
know, because that's the way it is.
Yeah. It's a crazy time.
Your hair looks
Almost.
lighter.
Oh, it does? It's
Yeah.
probably just the lights above.
Okay. It looks blondish.
Yeah, definitely the light.
It's your light.
Definitely not a blonde.
What were you gonna say? I interrupted you.
Oh, I was going to say, oh no, what was I going to say? I don't even remember now. That's another thing I feel like I'm suffering from is like quarantine brain. I'm just a bit
Mm.
like, bit out of it.
Yeah, no, it's like loopy. It all
Mm,
kind of feels like a dream, and I remember waking up like 6 or 7 days in, going, I had this weird feeling that like weren't allowed outside right now, and you're like, no, that wasn't, it's surreal days, you know.
like those first few seconds when you wake up and you're kind of like, wait, what's weird? You're like, oh yeah, the world's basically ended. That's what's odd.
Have you been at all evaluating the way your relationships, like people that you've known a while or even recently, how they're reacting or like who's in your life, who's not in your life? I've been playing a game like that. I don't know
Yes.
if it's my age, but I've been doing
Yeah.
the who do you want in a battle and who's just kind of distance and who didn't you need anyway?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think to a degree, I think initially everyone was kind of in the zone of, oh, well, if that person hasn't reached out to me, like, how dare they? The world's ending, they don't care, blah, blah, blah. But I think honestly, it seems like everyone's doing the best they can. And I
Hmm.
think it's really easy when you're bored and feeling vulnerable to kind of, you know, overanalyze what someone is or isn't doing. So I've been trying not to do that. But, it's
Yeah.
definitely, if anything, it's made me kind of evaluate what really is important to me and what I want and what I really want to work towards afterwards. It's kind of been like a major timeout for everyone. So,
Hmm. Do you feel in this? I agree with you. It's better said that it's more of an internal processing, not about the external or others. It's about
right.
where am I in my relationships with people? What am I contributing to? Society. What it's like a big evaluation, and I guess
Oh, for
people come
sure.
in and out of that as far as relationships. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, I've just been trying to do what I can do as far as keeping in touch with the people that, I kind of feel like need an extra check in every now
Mm-hmm.
and then. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. And, I've got a really great, solid group of friends that, I have a blast with just chatting about absolute nonsense most days.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I do that too. Did you go on a
yeah.
binge of watching stuff, or you don't do that?
Um, yeah, I did. I loved Normal People. God, that was so
I haven't
good.
seen it.
Oh, I mean, it's so fantastic. I mean, I haven't seen writing and acting like that. That was so moving and just so authentic and just
Where is it? Where
beautifully
did?
portrayed. It's Irish. It's
What
so,
network?
oh, Hulu, I think. Yeah, Hulu.
Okay.
But I can't say enough good things about it.
I started watching Miss America. I'm like two in on Hulu.
Really?
That's their big exclusive.
I don't know what that
The
is.
Gloria Steinem and this woman, what's her name? Kate Beckinsale plays this right winger that kind of destroyed the women's movement.
Oh,
Yeah, I just started it. I don't know. I watched Epstein last night. It was
yeah, so
depressing.
did I.
Just
I was
dark,
like,
dark,
oh
darker.
my God,
Yeah.
I can't
No.
even wrap my mind around that level of absolute
Mm-hmm.
disgraceful human being. It was
Yeah.
just unbelievable to me.
It was. But also it's this new thing where they're paying per minute and time. So they're making documentaries that are an hour and a half, like 3 days long to get an extra dollar from Netflix. So I'm kind of tired of the new format of extension where it's just
Yeah,
like, we get it. Like, I get it. You're
yeah,
stretching. What about acting
yeah.
and you? Do you ever think about jumping back into it or how do you feel
Um,
about
you
it?
you know, when I started doing that when I was really young, I
How old
wasn't
were you?
able.
How old
Oh,
were you
I
when
was
you did your
like,
first piece?
I was like maybe 17 or 18, but I had done theater and I was a dancer growing up, so I used to kind of be enmeshed in all of that whole world. And I think when I was that young, there was something about the industry and the environment and the people. that at the time I couldn't articulate what just didn't feel right about it, why I was so uncomfortable. And then I think when the whole Me Too movement came out, I was like, that's what it was. They're mostly fucking creeps. And especially, I'm very uncomfortable with the nepotistic kind of weirdness that I feel like I've really tried to avoid. And that was just
I'd
almost
have to say
impossible.
you've more than avoided it. You've been a very
Yeah.
private. No, you're like one of the most private people I know, and I'm really happy that you even came on this because you're very private and you're very exclusive, and you've always been, which is your character. And what I've admired
Yeah.
about you, you have a great point of view of it. I think very similar to myself, and you remind me of the way I view it about the pandering and the narcissism and the bullshit. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's thick.
It's really, honestly, it just, I don't know. I feel sick to my stomach even
Hmm.
thinking about it. To be honest, it's just so uncomfortable for me and just the kind of life that I want. And so, yeah.
I always
And
like your
also,
zinger one-liners. I wish I could just produce all of them right now, but you've always had an ability to look at something in the distance and define it in 3 words or less. You're a power force that way. I always like that.
I think it's like a Virgo thing or something. I don't know.
My mother had it. She would say this shit like I would be doing this thing and she'd be like, "Why go to school when you know more than the teachers?" And you'd be like, "What?" She always had these one like sayings. It's
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
funny,
yeah.
but very
Yeah.
observant. So maybe you get into it if it's the right situation.
I mean, maybe. And I think
Hmm.
for me too, because creatively and artistically, I'm definitely controlling in the sense that nothing's ever good enough and I just want to keep perfecting it. And I definitely struggle with that a little bit. But also, as an actor, you're essentially at the mercy of so many other people. And then
Yes.
to really trust those people. And initially, and you can think that it's going to turn out one way, and it turns out to be something that literally you wish you could rip your face off and get a new one because you're so
Hmm.
mortified to even be associated with it. So
Hmm.
that's a bit of a struggle. But I think there are some incredible directors and writers and cinematographers out there, and
It is
there
about
is,
lining up miracles though to get the piece
yes,
that you want.
yes, and it is really hard. But it's funny you mentioned that because when I was filming the video the other day, I was like, I forgot how much I actually really enjoy this.
Hmm.
But then that's a music video, and I obviously have a lot of input about the aesthetics and the storyline and the message and all of that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So, but as far as like just getting back out there just to do something and like, dive right in and just, no, it would have to be something really specific, and something that I feel would be really authentic to what I would want to be attached to. And,
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
that's picky. Maybe that means I'm not really meant to do that because I'm not a team player in that way. I don't know. But
Maybe
yeah,
you'll direct, write, and be in your own thing.
yes,
That's
I'm
fine too.
definitely interested in that too.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think like this moment might be a cleansing for some of all the maybe the negative and how loud it was socially, and I have a feeling that this might turn down the bad and turn up the good. I don't know.
well,
Maybe I'm just trying to be
as I said,
optimistic.
I think it's like a big time out for everyone because I think whatever you want to call it, the universe, energy, mother nature,
Hmm.
whatever, I think we've all been so badly behaved and entitled, and everyone is guilty of it in some
Hmm.
aspect. And I think, it was kind of bound to happen in some form. I'm in two minds. I kind of feel like everyone is going to go buck wild when, the door opens and everyone's going to go out there and, get shit faced and bang each other and
Yeah.
just go crazy like Mardi Gras. Or I
Yeah.
think people might be a bit like, you know what? I need to do better. I need to be better.
Hmm.
And the way I was before isn't working now during this current climate. I don't know. I think maybe it's one of those things where people will either do one or the other.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like it's like those earthquakes. If you remember earthquakes, people were nice for 3 days and then went right back to
yes,
themselves.
yes,
It used
yes.
to be
But
at
you know what's really
Starbucks. They'd be like,
funny?
"How are you? How's your family?" You're like, "You never asked me that before." You know what I mean?
It's so true. It's kind of like the same after 9/11. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't remember that much about that time, but I definitely remember people actually looked at you in the eye and smiled for a little while afterwards.
No,
And I kind of
definitely.
feel that now a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope people as a whole are a little bit more considerate and well behaved, but
You never know, right?
yeah,
Well, I don't
you
want to
never know.
keep you. I just, thanks for coming. And what was I gonna say? I gotta find out when when the single, the video drops, so I can
Yes.
get behind it.
Yeah, I will send you all of the information.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep going and making
Thank
stuff.
you. We'll have the best time at your dad's rager.
Yes, and I want to see your mask in the world soon.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna order a really very cool mask for the next time I run into you.
Okay. All right, love you. I'll let you be on your
Bye.
day. Good luck with everything and stay
Thank
safe.
you.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
Patrick.
love.
Bye.